Well met, lords and ladies, it's Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another episode of... Alright, so just to quickly go over some things, I'm not doing the vertical stream today, because I tried that yesterday. That might have been the reason that everything lagged so much. I'm not sure. My internet was already not working as well before that, so I thought I'd push it with an extra stream on top of everything else. Let's see what happens. So I'm giving it a day's rest, and speaking of rest, actually, that is precisely what I got. Because, yeah, I'm feeling a bit better than I have been for the past week or so. The headache I have is pretty much cleared up. So I'm prepared to replace that headache with something else. Also because I kind of had to, had to get a rushed bath. I didn't have time to set up a more complex stream that I was planning to, so this one came in between. I've been putting this video off because, yeah, Hxnnah impressed me with, one Christmas video out of two, which I realized. I didn't actually check the second one. Apparently I'm also out of sync still, so definitely a good call to not have to not have the other vertical stream today. Anyway, so yeah, so Hxnnah impressed me with one video, and then has subsequently, had one of them that was, the atrocious AI one, which is on the Gacha Fest playlist currently, but we're discussing behind the scenes, all of us judges are discussing whether or not to actually keep it in, waiting for Mops' verdict on AI voice acting for that reason. This one, to my knowledge, is not AI voice acted, because I think Ghost Kitty has checked the credits, so no elites, but by the same person. I will say that Hxnnah has a very good, output ratio, considering voice actor content is usually quite, is not as put together. Then again, last time I did see a lot of, corner cutting, I suppose, so maybe that's the trade-off, basically, for a better upload output. So we'll see. This one came out a month after the last one we watched, which was the one about, the bus stop and, the people who moved back and forth, and the one who, got the cocoon treatment right after everything was already resolved. It was incredibly unsatisfying. So it's that so it's the same one. So it'll be more of a blunder on a production scale. Because actually, I'll say this, I keep jinxing myself. The description of this one does talk about, does revolve around the concept of badminton itself. As long as they don't talk about the whole thing and, instead of just actually showing it, we might be in safer hands than, say, Kai Kyuko, for example, who has, had an amazing blunder trying to represent football. So you never actually know. But there you go. Absolutely human voices, so that's good. Also, Gacha Fest, yeah, because what I've been doing, because you haven't been here for a while, Tamsin, so what I've been doing for the past couple months, because I was selected to be one of the judges on Gacha Fest 2026, so I've been going through the playlist of Gacha Fest videos, making them the main priority in terms of Gacha reviews, so I can actually know what I'm talking about for most of these, because there are quite a few that we have seen, but also ones that I just haven't heard of in general. So I guess we'll see. And I'm trying to close down stuff, and it's not quite working the way I intended it to. This is making it even worse. So let me just solve my lag issues for as much as I possibly can, and then we'll give this a start. So no one send me any images today, please, for the love of everything. Yep, okay. Zooming in, nope, it's... Yeah, so definitely no vertical stream for today, because it's already bad enough. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, it's not exact, but it'll have to do for now. So let's see. Badminton battles, everyone. Without further ado, on with the review.
My strawberry kisses. Strawberry kisses.
Doubles contest. Winners get to travel and compete worldwide. This is my chance. Wait.
Okay, so, you know how I said this video was made like a month after the last upload? Assuming that Hxnnah was not working on both of these videos at the same time, that, you know, and this one actually was made in a month, this might be why. Lightning fast on this basic. That's exactly what we need. Boom, 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 done. Feel like we might be, you know, we can take it a little bit easy, I think. Which is ironic because the last video was, you know, all about character moments and taking things easy. So, I guess this compensates for it. I don't quite know. I guess this is the badminton to that other video's tennis, if you will.
Double only? This was my chance to make it.
Doubles only? Wow, I am so furious. As evidenced by me setting myself on fire and not screaming. So yeah, another video, 2 in a row, where it seems like the voice actors had no redirection. Probably because, again, it was only a month afterwards.
Like, really make it in the badminton world. The only problem, I didn't have a partner. And in this school, there was only one option I didn't want to admit.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay. Now I'm starting to see, for some reason... Oh, that might be why. Yeah, the internet thing that I'm normally on, like the internet provider I'm normally on, is not the same one. It's switched from the usual one to the one that we got that was supposed to be better, but actually wasn't, so it switched back to the original one. So, yeah, I'm just gonna quickly, if I can, without messing everything up. Is there no... Yeah, let's see if I can switch back to the other one. Let's try that. Okay, I've switched over. It seems to be going slower, so, but the reception is better, so I'm hoping that that sticks. All right, I think, yeah, we're good. We're good. All right, let's continue. I was going to say that we've gone into exposition mode now, even though we actually kind of got that from the lightning round of, you know, badminton. This is what I need. I thought that was the exposition. We just kind of like repeated the same thing we just rushed. It was the opposite problem we had before. That's not good. I don't know what that was all about. Anyway.
Gia!
Cameron Reyes. Of course.
The sound is very out of sync now. I paused it. It didn't even, like, actually do the sound at all. Okay. That's even stranger. Also, what is badminton? Well, Ghosty has kind of answered that one already for you. Tennis, but not tennis. So yeah, instead of using a ball per se, use a different thing called a shuttlecock, or shuttle, as you would, you know, as I prefer to call them, which, you know, has like a different, like, you know, dynamic travel or something. It's also longer and shorter. You know, it's basically, yeah, in that sense, tennis but not tennis.
Doubles championships? Do you even have a partner?
I do.
Okay, is the sound like gone off for everyone else? Because I can't hear anything anymore. I'm gonna wait until someone responds to that because I can't really proceed otherwise. you hear it. All right. Well, I'm gonna try and refresh the page because I can't critique the voice acting unless I can hear it. So let's see if I can reload in. All right, that was quick. Okay. Right, here we go. Badminton battles.
Strawberry kisses.
Doubles contest. Winners get to travel and compete worldwide.
Yes, we know we can also do that. So.
This is my chance. Wait. Doubles only? This was my chance to make it. Like, really make it in the badminton world. The only problem, I didn't have a partner. And in this school, there was only one option I didn't want to admit existed.
See ya!
Cameron Reyes, of course.
Doubles champ?
Yeah, that's not how you say it. It's going to be Reyes, not or Reyes if you want to pronounce it correctly, not Reyes.
Championships? Do you even have a partner?
I do, actually. So, you can leave now.
You have friends? I thought you just trained and studied.
Wow, how nice of you. Some of us have responsibilities beyond parties.
You really should learn to enjoy life a little more. But hey, if you ever need a partner, I'm here.
I'd rather die than play next to you.
You can't deny I'm a great player.
I can deny that.
Okay. Let me know if you find someone
I
better.
can deny that emphasis. That's what I was saying. Oh wow, she seemed like to have teleported outside. I feel like it was the same conversation. I feel like I'm just like in Tenet or something. Yeah, I don't know. Also, apparently I'm quieter, so I'll turn myself up. There we go. Yeah, I didn't say anything during that exchange because it was partly because it was out of sync for me, but partly also because there wasn't that much to say. I mean, it's the classic thing of, okay, sure, this is the kind of sports story where you're going to focus on like the characters particularly, and like their relationship and the sport might be like a secondary idea. I'm still hoping to see like actually something, because for any good sports show in general, the sport has to play like a major role, even if it isn't the center focus. So I'm hoping that we don't end up stumbling into that, basically. The one thing that we don't really know for sure is if like, I'm not clear if the badminton partners have to be from the same school or not. Like, maybe they do, but I mean, I suppose if it's on a school bulletin board, it might be a school activity. Potentially, but yeah, I don't know beyond that.
He made me sound like a loner. Which, okay, maybe I was. But still.
Wait, hold on, maybe I was? Wait, is this narration, but the mouth is still moving? But that means she's speaking out loud and narrating her life to herself. Jacob pondered this event and the futility of trying to show that on a screen. And also whether or not he's going to ever have good internet ever again at this point, and what the problem is, because there's nothing you can do about it. See how weird that seems?
How can...
Don't have to feel about this animation as bombers. See how they could talk about it better. Okay, well, I mean, I'll give it a shot. So yeah, this animation kind of seems like it's it's one where they're cycling between like different poses, where they're kind of like doing like a smooth transition in between different poses that they stay in, and also their faces are working differently at the same time. It feels like that kind of style of animation, which again, given the time frame of this, I can absolutely see being the reasoning behind that. Because if you look at them, that the animation doesn't convey that they're reacting to each other until they actually start speaking. So that to me seems like, okay, well, they're going to be in fixed positions for the most part, but we're going to cycle between them, and that's what the animation is going to look like, which essentially is more akin to what I do with the stop motion side of things. It's just that I don't have the, in between animation going like I just have like fades between and cross fades that I cover as best I possibly can. in part also thanks to Bon and his character poses. So yeah, it's kind of it seems more like my wheelhouse than his, to be honest. Even though it is tweening. So there you go.
No one be interested. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Problem, Gia? No friends?
If Cameron was an annoyance, Kayla was a nightmare. Design rackets, endless money, and a voice like nails on chalkboard. Every
I mean, it's not that annoying, to be honest.
word from her made me feel like I had to prove myself, not just to her, but to everyone.
Why don't you just go back to Korea?
I'm Chinese.
Oops.
Kayla!
The classic thing. This happened in Code Lyoko, by the way, where like Sissy thought that Yumi was Chinese, but she was actually Japanese, I suppose. But like how she like took a pause between. It was like, maybe you should go back to Korea. Like that was like the big stinger or something. Maybe she alternates between different like Asian countries just to like have the variation. I don't know. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a Smosh in Order video where Mari Takahashi, who is also Japanese actually, she was on trial, and then they like although she was the plaintiff actually. She wasn't on trial. Sorry, she was the plaintiff, and and I'm pretty sure there was a thing that Joven kept on like arguing or something where it was like, yes, this is a strong, independent, Chinese woman, Laotian woman. Every time you say like a different nationality, just be like, what the heck? Basically. Oh no, Joven was the defendant. So he was on trial. It wasn't Joven. It was who was it? Who was defending her in that video? Was it Damien? I can't remember. I gotta watch Smosh in Order again. Anyway, my point is, I've seen that idea before, so alternating between different ones, I guess I can see what she's trying to do. If that is even the possibility, or maybe she just didn't actually know. Head girl's belt bothers me. These belts do not go with these skirts. Yeah, the problem isn't so much the patterning behind them. It's more so the angle, because you can see the shirts, how they don't actually go that far down. They're almost like at an angle. It might also be because of like how they're positioned from like the animation, because you have to do like the puppet poses from Gacha to animate them in tweening. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean I don't know the process. So it might just be that, because like the torso has rotated away from the legs, that it looks stranger now. We'll see if she comes out from like this like rotated position into something more upright, and then we'll be able to tell.
Why are you talking to my badminton partner?
Your
Never mind,
partner?
it just moves, never mind.
It's Gia.
Okay. Oh wait, that's another thing actually. That might also be why it seems so rigid, because the torsos don't actually move. The belt should be higher up to cover like where the shirt like hem actually is in that case, and that would have solved the belt problem. But in terms of now when focusing on the torsos, if you see the way that Kayla moved, her torso stayed perfectly still while the rest of her body actually moved, which is very uncanny if you don't do it that way. That's the thing. I mean, I get, when people like animate this stuff, it's very common to see, the arms and the head particularly being the focus actually, because, we gesture with our bodies and stuff, but at the same time, even in that moment, I moved backwards to do my gestures, and then I came back, like I did just now. It's very uncommon for a human being to have a rigid torso, in that sense. So, yeah, I don't know.
Don't make me laugh.
I could have sworn you had a salon appointment to ruin, Kayla.
Please. The trophy's mine either way. You.
Why is Gia just kind of like meditating between being like, bliss, I'm being defended by a person that I also hate. What a serene moment this is. Like, what is that expression supposed to convey exactly?
Really think hard work can compete with the thousands I spent on training?
You should spend more money on those hair extensions. Ew.
Okay, that was a really terrible comeback. You could say, you just spend thousands just to like train to be as good as us. or something like that, you know, like really throw that idea of like, you know, you wouldn't be as good without the training. Kind of like flip that on its head. Do something with that. Jeez, that would be way better.
Whatever. It'll be fun to see you lose the first match.
Why would you tell her we're partners?
Because we should be. Face it, you're not gonna find anyone else as good at badminton than me.
Well, according to Gia before, she did in fact find someone. I mean, it's a very obvious lie, but as far as, you know, as far as she's concerned.
And together, we have potential to be great.
Potential to kill each other, maybe?
Worth the risk.
I hated his confidence, his smug smile, his stupid hair. I hated him. But if teaming up was my only shot at chasing this dream, then so be it. Fine.
I hated his smug smile, his stupid hair, his chiseled features, his handsome face, his ugly face. I mean, it's so transparent you can see right through it. Anyway.
After school every day, we practice. After a week of tense practices and
Oh, so we're just going to do stock footage instead of actually moving the characters. Oh yeah, because that would involve moving the torsos.
too many arguments to count.
And legs.
We were finally here. Our first real match together.
Yeah, after a training montage, you know, because those aren't ever interesting in sports content, are they? Like, at the very least, a montage would have worked, or like one training moment where like practicing like together. Which incidentally, now that I think about it, do you have to like team up with another doubles pair to practice your doubles like work? I would have thought so. That'd be another good reason to include Kayla and one other character. Although I'm saying that, remembering that the last video that we saw by Hxnnah had only 3 voice actors in it, which is another one of those corners that I mentioned. So maybe that was why.
I didn't know if we were ready, or if we'd tear each other apart before the game even started.
Well,
You could get all of that from a simple expression of nervousness. When a look can convey something in dialogue that better than dialogue can, you don't need to say it. Show, don't tell. Oh, also apparently our girl from the background had a hand the wrong way that I missed before. Thank you for pointing that out, Tamsin.
welcome to the start of the biggest state badminton competition.
Oh, there's a backwards hand. Well, not backwards hand, actually, because no, it wasn't a backwards hand. It was a twisted arm. That was what happened. Because the hand is facing the right direction, but the arm, I know that my arm bends that way, but like most people's, you know, don't, as far as that character went.
On court 3, we have the new pairing of Cameron Grace and Jia Lin.
Which, by the way, this is a very massive stadium for badminton. Like, no offense to badminton, it's actually one of the sports that I enjoyed the most in PE. But it's by no means popular enough under most circumstances to fill in this kind of stadium. Unless it was a nationals badminton championship of some kind, that you know, that, and therefore that would get a level of prestige, not like a school event. Which brings me back to what I was saying before about requiring 2 people from the same school to enter the competition together. If it's a nationals competition, that shouldn't be the case. Gia could have found basically anyone. There might be even like a forum or something of, you know, people trying to look for partners or something. I'm sure they had like some idea.
Likely duo, but one people are curious about.
Up on the net. Leaving the whole front.
I know how to play doubles. Just cover your side.
He does have a point, though. Normally you do a diagonal, actually. That's fair. Oh, and we're actually getting to see like a little bit. Yeah, by the way, if you're wondering what badminton looked like, Ghost Kitty, it's something like this, minus the Michael Bay action.
Grace and Lin still can't quite sync up. Communication looks rocky for the new pair.
You should have.
Yeah, if they'd actually trained together properly or we'd seen what their montage was like, we would have been prepared for this.
Have that.
Hard to get it when you keep crowding my lane. You don't have to do everything yourself.
Maybe I do. I can't afford to lose this early.
Okay, notice how this is another like time-saving technique that Hxnnah is employing here. So you see like how all these like different like dives or something are happening in Crypt, that they are paced really well to cover this up. It's just because, you know, I've been round the block, so to speak, in terms of gacha content, so you know I know what I'm looking for. They're only like fixed poses, so no one's moving like their arms and reacting to the shots. We're just seeing them already in deflecting position, which means that you can just make one pose and one screenshot in gacha and pose them that way, and I guess sync up with the badminton racket that is also there's a, you know, that is a custom prop. So that's another technique that we seem to have gone down here. One that I don't mind that necessarily that much, because it is common to see that kind of thing in anime. As someone who's watched a lot of Inazuma 11, there are a couple of moments where they rely on freeze frames to save on animation time, but they still keep it, you know, dynamic. The reason they get away with that, I think, is because they also have moments where it's not that I just described. Even the stock footage in the anime that's from the anime that I don't know which one it is, but the stock footage that Hxnnah is using in this, even those ones seem like they're much more animated and much more lively than the gacha characters. So, you know, it only makes the contrast stand out, and also means that, yeah, there was another option, it just wasn't taken.
And that's it! Graves and Lin take their first victory together, but just barely. 21 to 19. The shaky start.
Yeah, by the way, you have to, if you don't know, in badminton you have to win by 2 points, and you have to, and the lowest score you can win by is 21. In fact, I think they said that there's actually a quiz question last time. Apparently, like, the lowest score you can get to win is 11, but I don't know. I guess maybe they're going back and forth a lot more. I'll have to check that one out, but I've heard 21, that's why I used it in PE, so yeah, there you go.
But a win nonetheless.
That was a mess. We almost lost our very first match.
A win's a win. You don't have to act like it was a disaster.
Don't you get it? Barely scraping by isn't good enough. If we keep playing like this, we'll be out in the next round.
Maybe if you actually trusted me instead of trying to do everything yourself, we wouldn't have close calls.
Or maybe, if you stopped treating this like some game, I wouldn't have to carry us.
I'm not treating this like a game. You just don't want to admit you can't do it alone.
Look, I can't afford to lose, okay? If I fail, then every sacrifice my parents made, every sleepless night, every second job, it all means nothing. Don't you
Okay. I see what they're trying to do here. And again, this goes back to what I was saying about sports, anime, sports shows, anything. You know, if you're going to have it so the character focus is the thing, you know. And this is true. A lot of sacrifice can come from, you know, people's parents. You know, some of the time it's through the parents trying to live vicariously. Sometimes it's just supporting, you know, their child's ambitions, and, you know, maybe not always having the funds to do so. But that is a classic motivator. The thing is, we haven't met this character's parents. We haven't seen that scenario. This is the first that we're hearing of it. And okay, yes, you could say it comes as a bit of a surprise, and that's like something. It's like a twist explanation thing. But for a character whose motivations have just been win, win, win constantly, it never seemed like it was personal until this moment. So there's no there's not much of like a hint that, okay, there's something much like more like deep seated in here until this moment. It doesn't feel earned. Again, if we've gone back to the training moment, if we've seen these two train together, maybe there could have been a moment where she like hints at something, but she doesn't want to talk about it. Some sort of like underlying thing, but because it's him, she's not going to open up because she doesn't like him in the first place. You know, which contrasts his lackadaisical attitude because, you know, as she said before, she doesn't like his confidence or that everything's going to go well or something. So So I've added that, and also maybe a scene with her parents potentially. Or if you want to keep that as a surprise, maybe not the second thing. But still, it just feels like something is missing. Any of those options would have worked, but because none of them are there, it doesn't feel as momentous, especially for a character who's been narrating her entire experience, and now we get this moment. It also feels counterintuitive for that reason. So yeah, I don't know, something along those lines. So yeah, not a bad motivation, just not the best executed.
See? I have to be perfect. If I'm not perfect, then it's wasted. So don't you dare drag me down.
You're gonna burn a hole in the floor at this rate.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was saying. Not very impactful, It was a good choice of character trait to have, but yeah, just needs to be conveyed differently. Yeah, exactly.
Go home, Cameron. I know I get defensive. I know I bite. But no matter how sharp my words are, one fact always remains. Cameron never leaves.
Again, if we'd seen a moment where there was like a time where she chased him off, barked him down during training, and he refused to leave, because otherwise it just seems like he's just intruding for the sake of it. That doesn't have the same impact as he's not giving up on you. Because now we're getting to this point where it's like, oh yeah, this is the turning point. Which, by the way, we are a third of the way through this video. So if we're trying to do the turning point of the character right after we've revealed the central problem, we're jumping the gun way too early, I think.
He always comes back. And I hate him for that.
You're too hard on yourself.
Easy for you. You have nothing to prove.
Nothing to prove? My parents think badminton's a joke. They want me in law school, not on a court. One mistake here,
another good movie,
and I get a lecture about how I'm ruining my future.
All this time, I thought...
Yeah, for the deuteragonist, actually, I'll say that having a surprise, parental backstory works a little bit better usually, because we're not following their perspective. And, from the main character's point of view, they wouldn't also know, so us reacting, it's a little bit different. Kind of a double standard in media, but hey, it's I can see why. But also now she's saying after all this time, it has been 6 minutes of content so far, and we're already at after all this time territory.
Cameron had it easy. The money, the coaches, the confidence.
But didn't Kayla say before that she's the one who spends thousands on training when Cameron got the skills? You say he also has money and coaches and all of that stuff? Well then what was Kayla complaining about earlier, or trying to boast about? Does Cameron only spend hundreds on training instead of thousands? Was that the difference?
But behind his smirk was the same fear I carried, that no matter how hard we played, we'd never be enough for the people we wanted to make proud.
I know we're different, but we want the same thing, to win. So let's stop dragging each other down and start working together.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I always am.
Come back here!
Hey, cut it out!
Now we get a montage.
Many matches later, people started noticing us.
What? Many matches later at a different stadium. Of course. Obviously. Also, yeah, it is Blackadder's Golden Retriever. Not that I haven't partaken in this exact cliche, because that's basically what Nathaniel and Hera are, if you think about it, but again, that was at least over a few, sessions, and therefore episodes, hours of content rather than minutes. Come on.
The team no one thought would last.
All eyes are on the rising pair, Cameron Reyes and Jia Lin. Once seen as underdogs, they fought their way through every round to land in the semifinals. Jia's precision and composure, paired with Cameron's explosive smashes, have turned them into one of the most exciting duos on this court. Stay tuned tomorrow to see them.
Interesting, because normally the person who smashes the most, I believe, is like the one at the front in badminton, because they have like the best angle to smash down. And also like the best times, like, you know, have an impromptu like moment to intercept a shot. At least in my experience, I would have thought G would be the one smashing, not him, but okay.
Results.
Ramen?
Store-bought?
Wow, that is the richest comment ever. Some of us don't have chefs on call. I need energy to practice when I'm home.
You always train like the championship is tomorrow.
Well, the dream doesn't become real until you do what it takes to make it real.
That's true, but you don't rest, Gia. That's not healthy. You'll burn yourself out.
Says the guy who practices his serves till sunrise.
Again, I feel like the don't rest thing could have like been a much better, more impactful thing if he said that before they had the heart-to-heart, but that might just be me.
No, I mean it. You treat every mistake like it's the end of the world. One misstep and suddenly you're what? Not good enough?
I can't
I would have rather seen that rather than be told it, but
afford
great.
mistakes. My parents gave up everything just to give me a better future.
You already did
No
this.
matter
You said
how
this
much
earlier.
I
Why would you do this
practice
again?
here in America, I feel like I'll never belong. Badminton is the
America.
only place I don't feel like an outsider. If I fail at it, that means I don't belong anywhere.
Okay, so that comment about, you know, going back to Korea when she's not even Korean in the first place, you know, that I guess was, you know, that was good foreshadowing for this event. So kudos to Hxnnah for that at the very least. You know, an actual moment of built-up story beats in this rather than just coming out of nowhere. A great contrast. Love to see it. Oh my. But yeah, as the rest of that stuff, we've mostly heard this already. I mean, yes, it's realistic for people to have more than one conversation about their insecurities, but considering we all did like kind of, you know, spilled the beans on like, you know, that last scene, it doesn't feel like there's like that much new in this point aside from the comment about not feeling like an outsider.
My dad gave me this racket back in China. It's the only thing I bought with me when we moved here.
I like how the way the dad's just like, ha ha, and she's just backing away. Like the dad almost smacked her by accident. Oh my goodness. Oh, whoops.
It's like a piece of home I can hold on to.
Side note, by the way, I do like the backgrounds of this. I commented on the backgrounds last time a lot more than I am now, because I guess it's more noticeable when there's like not the change of seasons. But that is one point where Hxnnah doesn't, you know, pull any punches and actually like puts in, you know, the effort is in finding all these different things. The backgrounds and the props as well.
We both love badminton in our own ways. When I'm on court, it's the only time I feel like myself, too.
Cameron, when you play, you're alive. You shine. I see someone who is born for this.
You really think so?
This feels like a good like a start moment to either the spaghetti from Lane the Tramp or a musical number. But actually also it makes the narration from before redundant, the one which is like, now I realize Cameron was just like me the whole time, because we're having this moment now where Cameron himself is unveiling that. It's just that, you know, it's still exposition, but it's like it's natural exposition. That's the difference.
I know so.
You're different when you're not biting my head off.
Don't get used to it. We sat there, eating our cheap ramen. Two people who couldn't be more different, but share the same love for badminton. Tomorrow was the match.
Yeah, two people who couldn't be more different, despite the fact that most of the time we've seen them on screen, they've been doing the exact same thing, so therefore not that different. But we're told about how different they are, because again, show don't
That
tell.
would decide the finals. I should have been trembling, but for once, it didn't feel like me against the world.
So the championship is tomorrow, whereas before he was kind of saying, Cameron was saying that it wasn't. Okay.
It was us.
Hey, believe it or not, still.
I told myself I had to play perfectly today.
Oh, I guess he's also narrating now.
Because for the first time in years, My dad agreed to come watch me play. If I gave the performance of my...
Yeah, could we not have like had a phone call or something where he's like, hey, hello son, I'm coming to watch your play tomorrow, and then suddenly that's like the big increase of pressure, like back in his room or something. Anything. Any extra scenes that are like the bare minimum. No wonder this only took a month to make.
My life, he'd see that badminton wasn't just a game, but my passion. But the semifinal wasn't going as I imagined.
See, look at the difference between like the movement there. I mean, yeah, sure, you can't do like the turning of the character's head or anything to that, you know, to face backwards or like the torso, but you could do something with Gacha.
What a waste of time.
That being said, I do actually appreciate. Well, first of all, what a waste of time. He hasn't done anything yet. But I do appreciate the added sound effects on top of the flashbacks. That's a nice attention to detail there, because I assume especially because like how the music and narration are overlapping it needed to have the sound effects that would be there in the original clip, I presume. So that's a nice touch to do that.
That was in. Are you blind?
Oh, and that's a contra.
Yeah, almost like, yeah, I wish that we'd seen that. Was that what that was supposed to be? I thought it was like because it was grayscale, I thought it was a flashback of some kind, but no. I guess that might have been just the course.
Controversial line call. Cameron Reyes is not happy about it at all. He'll need to reset fast if they want to stay in this game.
My parents are right. Maybe this is pointless.
Okay. I was going to say that it actually is refreshing to see, you know, Cameron be the one to blow up at a mistake that Gia has made rather than the other way round. It feels strange considering that it was right after he just told Gia that she does this exact thing. Like, if it had been some time later, we'd seen him, like, slip up over time and, like, build up to this. But the literal first mistake feels too premature. Have the anger, like, bubble up a little bit or something, or the frustration at himself as we see the differences and, like, the change of expressions over the course of the match with the dad. And then it's, like, at a critical juncture, then that's when he, you know, has this moment. I would have thought, because otherwise it feels a bit unearned in comparison. Again, I get where it's coming from. Most of this stuff, it makes sense where it's coming from. The thing that is holding Hxnnah back is just like the it is just the execution of everything and how fast it all actually is. Like, get the point across. That's not the best approach to storytelling. Just like trying to get your point out there, boom, boom, boom. Because what are you left with? Where's the soul at that point? I'll talk more about that because I think I know exactly why that is and why I like the Christmas video and not this one, but we'll get to that. We'll get there because I want to say that at the end, and we're about 2/3 way through now, so let's keep going.
I could win the championship and they'd still say it's childish. No matter what I do, I'll never be enough for them. Not the son they want, not the player I want to be.
Cameron, look at me. Cameron, look at me.
You don't even care. What is the point?
You said you loved badminton. That's enough of a reason to fight.
I'll never be the son they want.
Stop playing for them. Please.
The other team was just like, No, but seriously, this is not nice. But I was going to say that that's a good lesson to have, you know, play for you, not for them. But I was hoping that they'd get to it, and they did. So, again, fantastic.
For you. I need that Cameron. The one who refuses to quit. I need you to fight with me, not for them.
She believes. Me, not the image my parents want. Maybe that's enough. I don't need their approval. I just need this game. I just need us.
Oh, there's the blush. There we go.
You always know how to
It's
kick me
bound to
back to
happen.
reality.
Good. Because we're not done yet.
Ah, yes, a singles match or a doubles competition. Great stock positions. I know that the net is Wait, that's actually a very good point. That's actually a good way that they could have done this. Because the net being behind is a symptom of like the custom background. If the net itself had been a custom prop, and the background was like a normal stadium, basically, then you could have positioned it in front of the character, so you could actually have them hit the shuttle over the net rather than pretend that's what was happening and that the net wasn't behind them the whole time.
The semifinals, everything changed. Cameron and I trained harder than ever, but the closer the finals came, the heavier the pressure sat on my shoulders. Cameron kept telling me to rest, to breathe, even to laugh, but how could I?
Yeah, so now we're back to this moment. The semifinals could have been the moment where he like starts to slip or something, or Gio tries to employ his advice, so they're sort of like shifting where they are to like at the same level, and then the finals is where he like blows up, but he snaps out of it, and then they go on to win basically, or something like that, or not. They could in fact lose, but you know, and realize that it wasn't all about that, and they came this far, and that's already, you know, a fantastic achievement, and how far they've actually grown together, that being the important thing. That could also be how this goes. And then Truck-kun happens, because it's a Hxnnah video, and we can't have a happy ending, apparently.
The finals weren't just a game, they were everything, and deep down, I was terrified of tripping at the finish line.
I'm not losing to her.
Tripping on the finish line.
Not to her. I trained.
Oh, so those thousands of training actually worked for Kayla. Which, hold on a second. I thought the point was that there was only one option. Oh, maybe it's the one option that would consider her, and Kayla was the other option, but would never have joined her in a million years. Okay, sure. Alright then. Never seen so random in Hxnnah videos. In media stories or Lunar Sun 2, I can understand why they use anime scenes, it's not a jump scare. Yeah, because those two normally use it for you know, like scene transitions, to like set the mood, or you know, but not like as actions done by the characters themselves. I think we're supposed to assume that those badminton players are representative of the characters themselves, and that's a line that I've never seen Lunar Sun cross. Midori technically did back in the day with some still images of, you know, when he was trying to do like that terrible scene with Sunshine when she was possessed and, you know, like, you know, licking Tomi and that one. That scene it happened in, where, you know, Sunshine was stock anime character in that. Aside from that moment, that's never really been a thing ever again. So it's more of a case of like how to do those kind of things effectively. So I guess my advice is don't do it to replace the characters, but do it to set the scene sometimes. I also personally advise avoiding any animes like stock footage that has humans in it. It works better if it's, you know, like background stuff or vehicles, I found, for Gacha. Also because Midori went on to apply Gacha characters into the backgrounds of certain anime videos and their images, and that was like the first time I saw a Midori Stories video, and that's kind of like stuck with me, but still. That idea, basically.
My whole life. Somehow she, a scholarship kid, steals the spotlight? An immigrant who barely had proper gear? No way. People like her don't just walk.
And that's why the insult should have been about how much he spent on training and still wasn't good enough, or still wasn't as good as them. That's why that would have been a better comeback. I stand by what I said earlier.
In and take what's mine. That old racket's her lucky charm. Break the charm, break the game.
Now I see why it was done like this.
Found it.
Okay. Again, you could have achieved the same effect with just zooming into the to the Gacha character's mouth. I've done something similar before with Pop. But okay.
The famous dad's racket.
Famous dad's racket. She told one person about that. How on earth do you know that's her dad's racket? If this is common information, then that reveal to Cameron means absolutely nothing. It means less than nothing, because it means that Cameron has not been paying attention. That was supposed to be an intimate moment. How does this character know about it? Does Hxnnah think that because like the audience knows something, all the characters do? That's not how dramatic irony works. Maybe that's why we don't get any scenes with like the parents or stuff beforehand, because in Hxnnah's mind, if the audience knows about it, then suddenly Cameron will just pull out that knowledge out of thin air and recall that scene with his eidetic memory that he now has. Maybe that's how it goes. But no, that's not how that works at all. People know different things, they learn different things at different times. Part of the art of storytelling is, you know, using the dramatic irony to keep that information from the characters for as long as it's dramatically necessary, or to withhold it from the audience entirely and reveal it then. Hxnnah did the second thing, but I feel like, again, that would be more effective to do the otherwise. The boys from apocalyptic world. Yeah, more like telepathic world, am I right?
Pathetic. Holding on to this like it's magic. Oops.
Okay. Badminton rackets do not break that easily. The tensile strength alone would not allow that to happen. You have to like actively, you know, smash them. Throwing them across the room does not, you know, if they're that fragile, it would have not lasted into the, you know, the finals at all.
Guess it wasn't built to last. Well, if it isn't Gia. I didn't think you'd actually make it this far. Guess miracles really do happen.
What do you want, Kayla?
Oh, nothing. Just wanted to remind you. This is the finals. All eyes on you. Your poor little family up there watching, praying you.
Yep, cheering you on because because they're just celebrating how far what you've achieved. Yep, all
You
that
don't
stuff.
mess it
Yep.
all up. One mistake, and everyone will see the truth. You don't belong here. You never did.
I belong as much as you.
Do you? Or are you just a charity case of a racket? Maybe after you lose.
Oh, that would have been a perfect moment to be like, you know, charity case with a racket. Well, maybe just a charity case, and then have her clock on, where's my racket, and then run. That could have worked. I don't know. It was in TV. Oh my god, he was doing a Sylveon impression. Oh, okay. I haven't seen that many Sylveon videos from Courtney, actually. Got to do that more.
You can go back to, well, whatever country you came from.
I'm not losing to you.
Again, I guess because if we'd seen more scenes with Kayla, that whole thing about like different countries would have been, you know, more impactful. Rule of threes, or maybe one more scene with her where she says a different place. I don't know. I'd have taken Cambodia or something. I don't know. Vietnam.
Keep telling yourself that.
Kazakhstan.
Her words
Oh,
cut
actual impact.
deeper than I wanted to admit. I hated
Yeah, because you somehow knew exactly what to say despite not being present for any of those moments where you talk about your greatest insecurities.
how easily she twisted the knife, how quickly she made me doubt myself. I couldn't let her win.
Also, where did she go exactly? Look at the background here. There's a window there which and a stairwell, which implies that we are up at a building somewhere. Kayla just walked through a wall and tumbled to the ground below. Kayla is dead. Right then. Call the Reaper.
But my hands wouldn't stop shaking.
Well, glad you told us that instead of showing the character's hands shaking. Not like you can do like a back and forth keyframe in tweening or anything. And we even zoom in on the fact that they're just completely static.
You look like you're heading into battle. Not a game.
Oh, one other thing, by the way, is that, you know, another thing that Hxnnah's doing that I also do is using animated mouths, which makes sense, because, like, again, I've always maintained that lip syncing is something that, you know, if you're going to put the effort in to do that, then sure, so be it. I personally don't think it's necessary because a lot of the time the animated mouths move so fast in Gacha that that you're not missing out on, like, you know, different inflections or anything, because, you know, everything, and most of the time people's speech is sustained when doing those. When it's not sustained, actually, we want to have like one continuous sound, like an ow and eh, like that kind of thing for cheering. You want to have the solid mouth to compensate for it. That's the only difference, basically. That's where the animated mouths work against you, when you have to like an oh instead of like an oh. You know, that's basically it. No longer bleaching. Well, that was yesterday. I should hope you're not bleaching still. Unless you want a head look like you like your profile picture, in which case you probably still would be bleaching.
It is a thought.
Then I guess we go to war together. Ready?
More than ready.
Tonight, we died on spoiled rat flesh. Okay, not only is that still the stock footage, it's the same stock footage we saw earlier. Like, I mean, okay, I don't imagine there are that many badminton anime out there, but most anime have 13 episodes. You're telling me in 13 episodes of insert badminton anime here, that I presume to exist at the moment, that there weren't more than a couple of showdowns? Not to mention a doubles match of any kind? Okay. Okay, and also, they're playing like side to side now. It goes back to what I said before about the net. If the net was a prop instead of part of the actual background, you could even have the other players behind the net, so that we know where the shuttle's being served to. That could have also worked. You know, it's so that I always love when people use the third dimension of Gacha, or like not the third dimension really, but like the illusion of the third dimension of Gacha. But I guess not. I compare the bully in this to the bullies in the apocalyptic world, but yeah. Oh, sorry, you already said that.
No, Dad gave me this.
Wait, so hold on a second. So we heard the racket smash when Kayla knocked to the ground, which I maintain shouldn't have happened. But then Kayla literally said, "Looks like it wasn't built to last." Are we to believe that Kayla glued the racket back together again? That it didn't also break by the strings, which is the thinnest part of the racket itself, and that she glued it purposefully enough that it would break again within the next match that was happening minutes afterwards. She spends thousands on training, but managed to work out the mathematics of, you know, whatever adhesive she used to put it together. Okay, yeah. I knew that I was gonna have to wait until my headache was clear before I watched this video, and yep, I was right. I was absolutely right. Okay. My effing racket, Griggo. For a second time.
How did it break?
Jia Lin is struggling here. Her timing's just a half second off, and Kayla's taking advantage of every mistake. If
Gia became Hit from Dragon Ball Super.
can't steady herself, his final could slip away before he...
Badminton animes, and when I found them was Hxnnah Butter, which seems to be the anime Hxnnah seems. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I thought that'd be one of them. How many episodes does that have? Ghost Kitty. What's the total count? At?
even begins.
Better tighten up, Gia. Finals aren't for amateurs.
So sloppy. What am I doing? Dad's watching. Mom's watching.
Okay, one detail I like is the fact that there's now like a pink racket they just had like on standby, I suppose. Alright then. Yeah, I thought so. 13 episodes, standard anime season. 13 episodes, only a few moments of actual showdown. What, do they just talk through half of it? Sounds like this video, to be honest, actually.
If I mess this up, then all of it were for nothing. He was right. I don't...
Oh yeah, Now I mentioned this before when where you went here, but one thing that happens is they rarely move like their legs or anything, but also they don't move their torsos at all usually. They are now, but in conversation moments where they're no action sequences, they rarely move their torsos, just like their arms and head. I think it's the first time we've actually seen a character walk towards someone. Oh wait, no, we saw Kayla before when she like walked through a wall and fell to the concrete below, 10 stories down.
I don't belong here. I don't.
Hey, Gia, you're spiraling.
My father's racket just broke. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Every time the shuttle came my way, I saw the broken racket instead of the birdie. I'm off my game now. If I lose everything. I can't afford to mess up. Why?
Again, we're seeing like the lines, which implies like a big like projection or crash down, but the VA is playing it like much more subdued. Like, I'm trying to keep it together right now, and at the moment where I'm gonna explode, but I'm not because I'm holding myself back and I can't defend all these people. Like that. That's not like an my dad's racket disappeared, blah 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 blah. Like that's that's what we need for if you're gonna have the lines. This is a classic case of the discrepancy between the editing and the voicing. The voice acting isn't bad in this, it's just going for a different objective than the director intended, which meant that it should have been redirected by the director.
Can't I calm down?
I mean, they can call timeout, I suppose. I mean, maybe they did in order to, have this conversation, not gonna lie, because otherwise they're just, Kayla and her non-existent partner, because there are only 3 noteworthy characters per Hxnnah video these days, are just waiting in the wings. So they probably did. They probably did call timeouts, but this is what timeout looks like. They don't leave, I suppose. Relation to Rubber Hose style, because something feels like these guys have no bones. Yeah, actually, I would say it's the opposite Rubber Hose, because Rubber Hose, Rubber Hose is bouncy, like a lot of the time, actually, and very, like, fluid. But this is more of a case of just, this is much more stiff, especially that torso area. You wouldn't see a Rubber Hose character with just, like, doing this. You got to put like the full movement of that, the full slinkiness, the full actual Rubber Hose. That's like William's animation style, kind of. And again, similar issue because William had that with a walking cycle back in the day, where I told him the torso should move up and down. It's uncanny when half of people's bodies don't move along with the rest of them. But yes, Madame Pomfrey helped them grow the few bones they are missing. Because I maintain that Rubber Hose is the opposite of this, but anyway.
Gia, I've said this 1,000 times to you. Perfection doesn't exist.
And by 1,000 times, I mean 1 time, in 1 scene.
Not in badminton, not in life. You're not a machine. You're a person. Your worth isn't measured by trophies.
And if I fall?
Then I'll catch you. On the court or off of it. You aren't alone. You never were.
At that moment, something shifted. My parents hadn't sacrificed everything so I could chase perfection. Winning or losing wasn't the heart of it. It was the freedom to choose. I didn't need to be flawless.
Are we sure she isn't a machine? Well, this scene alone is the one was like, yeah, we actually have humanity in here now. And she's blushing now because of course she is, but,
I just needed to play the game I loved.
I guess that's what Gia... No, that's not what Gia looks like. That was the part of her face. Is that Gia? No, I guess not. Okay, yeah, sure. This is at least the most action.
Hey, Gia and Cameron won this year's badminton tournament!
Damn it!
Oh, we're not gonna say the score this time?
Yeah! I knew you could do it!
Wait, did her racket just turn from not pink again? Did they fix it during the timeout to just hand it back to her? Imagine if they did, it just collapses a second later. It's like, yay, we won! Oh. Oh my goodness. I'm also assuming that Hxnnah animated the scenes, because no one cuts corners like this unless they're the animator themselves in charge of everything. it feels like the story was written around all of the different things that they have to sacrifice for it to work. Yeah. Tape! More tape! Get the... Yep, there we go. Mm-hmm. All the strings just, like, ping apart. Anyway.
Because I had the best partner by my side. Badminton started as a memory, and it became my dream.
Badminton started as a memory. Nothing starts as a memory. It becomes a memory after it started. That's why it's a memory. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
And now, standing here with my parents cheering and clamoring by my side, it's become my proof.
It's like the end of Karate Kid.
Proof that I found where I belong.
Oh! No one died this time. No one got truck-cooned in the last scene. That's fantastic. That's way better than I was hoping for. Did we change styles? Not really. Would it even be worth changing styles at that point? But yeah, no death, exactly. Well, yeah, of course there's only 3 voice credits. Only 3 characters ever spoke. Which is the same as the last episode, by the way. And that's what I wanted to talk about. You know, I mentioned that I feel like I figured out why the pacing of Hxnnah videos is much worse now, and how it feels like so fast, and how we've sacrificed nearly like every in-between scene just to keep the ones that would be, you know, indispensable. Like, I have, you know, like I said before, you know, when I started creative writing at university, I did learn about the concept of kill your darlings, which just means if you get attached to a scene but realize it doesn't serve a purpose, or it, you know, you need to cut it down for time purposes, be prepared to do so. Don't fight to keep it in if it comes at the expense of the overall story. That's what that means. It doesn't mean sacrifice everything that isn't absolutely necessary, because then you take out the humanity. You get people who came in, you know, 3/4 of the way through the video asking if the main character is a machine. You know, imagine what the rest of us would be thinking by that point. So yeah, exactly. So, and that's why you can't like afford to sacrifice that much. But the reason why I think that's happening, and the reason why I think I enjoyed the Christmas video that Hxnnah did way more than any of the other videos. I mean, even the Elites I know was, you know, but the Elites was terrible for a number of reasons beyond just that. But the reason why is because this style has changed in order to cut down. For the sake of having voice-acted content, Hxnnah has limited themselves to 3 spoken characters per video. You know, like, you like, not like poorly chosen stock footage. Admittedly, still really good backgrounds. That I maintain. But yeah, and if you look back at the Christmas video, that's not what happens in that one. I don't think, anyway. I mean, I remember there's like 3 important characters, but I still remember there being like extras and, you know, like actual stuff happening. Because now it feels like, you know, intentional. It's the same thing that Aiden used to do back in the day in Minecraft. Because he actually also, well, he didn't have a rule of like only 3 characters per video. He already had a rule of like only 2 characters speak in any given scene, because he only had himself and 2 other helpers to actually, you know, be the characters while he filmed. So he couldn't have more than 1 character per scene because he didn't want to do custom NPCs and blah, 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 blah. You know, there were a number of reasons, and if anything, Aiden joining the Gacha community solved that problem for him. As much as it was difficult for him to deal with, you know, a bunch of voice actors at once, because it's difficult for everyone, no one's denying that, he still persevered through that, and you know, together, we were able to actually, you know, write a series that had, you know, a whole roster. If anything, we've complained a lot of the time that there are too many characters. in Fallen Angels, or at least too many characters that stick around constantly, you know. Obviously run into different issues when they try to like make sure that every character has something to do in every single episode, even if it's not, you know, appropriate, and that's a whole other thing, that's a whole other can of worms. But I prefer that to the alternative of only 3 people ever and then just mentioning the others. I said before, it would have been way better if we saw the parents and, you know, and got like a sense of Gia's perception of them. Maybe not so much Cameron's ones, because him being a bit of a mystery would be something else. If we saw a bit more of the training, or like a few moments of a few reactions from Gia as like other unique mistakes actually happen, like I have to assume they do in the actual badminton anime that Ghost Kitty found. You know, like if we just had like a few more of those moments, or a few more people around, you know, it's it wouldn't feel as mechanical, as calculated, as uncanny, as inhuman. The animation also does not help, because again, there's a reason this was done. Bon, you weren't here for this at the beginning. This video came out a month after the last video, the Truck-kun one. And I was wondering, yeah, is it possible this was being worked on at the same time as the other one? It just happened to be finished a month later. But now I'm really suspecting that's not the case. Now I'm suspecting that Hxnnah is really trying to optimize the process as much as possible without the humanity behind everything. Next time I watch a Hxnnah video, assuming that none of those come out before Gacha Fest cutoff date, which is December 15th, assuming none come out before that, I want to go back and watch, remember the other Christmas video that I missed out on? That double feature, maybe like some of the other older ones, to see the difference. Because I said before that I like to see the evolution of, you know, a Gacha channel, you know, from the older videos to like how they actually improved and what methods they actually like underwent, basically. But to be honest, I'm seeing with Hxnnah, instead of progression, I see more regression, disguised as progression. So yeah, I don't know. Moments, there's a happy medium for everything. I suppose, although I feel like that's what Hxnnah is feeling about this, like the happy medium is the 3 characters, is the, you know, the not having them walk in the slightest, is the just keeping all the scenes that are just the bare essentials. Like that feels like, you know, instead of like having nothing. I'm hoping that's not the case. But yeah, exactly. Choose touching intimate moments to keep humanity and ensure your audience cares. Exactly. Exactly that. Game where they try to drink every time honey butter is showed. I wonder how drunk they would be. Decently. Honestly, truth be told, there wasn't as much stock footage as there could have been, but the ones that was chosen was why it stood out so much. I mean, yeah, a B plot wouldn't go amiss also, yeah, but I mean, even then, even if there is no B plot, you know, we still could have focused on like the relationship between like these 2 characters, how they are on the same wavelength, but we don't actually know. You could, you know, even if everything like served the larger purpose of Gia's, you know, sense of belonging. Yeah, I mean, you know, it could have all, I just like coalesced together, but even then, there's not much else to say about that one, I don't think. But yeah, B plot, if you wanted more characters, that would also have worked. Yeah, I personally would love more characters. Not about Hxnnah necessarily, but yeah, it's becoming transparent by this point. At the very least, we still have those backgrounds. We have the foreshadowing with Kayla. As one-dimensional a bully as she actually was, there was at least a little bit of thought behind how that was going to develop. I kept on wondering, you know, because it seemed like the you know, a lot of stories will end with like the reveal or the third as the third act breakdown, and then the climax after they win that match. It felt like it could have ended 6 minutes in. I was wondering where it was going to go a couple of times. It's like, oh yeah, okay, we'll bring some of the stuff back. But yeah, making more characters means like making them actually someone worth remembering. That's the problem, you know. Gia eventually, Gia eventually like wins you over a little bit. But by that point, the damage is sort of already done. It's too little too late, to a certain degree. Definitely not the worst scenario of this, like I've seen in Gacha, but probably a low point in terms of stuff for Hxnnah herself or himself. I was wondering if we're going to sound racist at times. Like Ugaji being Ravel's boys telling you to go back home when necessary. I mean, maybe it wasn't, but it's also something that I can see people actually, undergoing a lot of the time. I mean, I'll say this as much as my heart is very much in Spain and whatnot. When I was actually there, some people did question why I was at a Spanish school and whatnot, and because believe you me, I was always the weird kid. I know, shocker, right? So they thought, oh yes, are all British people like that? The answer is no. It's just me. So, so I think that's where that was coming from. It was, and from what little I know about Hxnnah's life, that might also possibly be a relatable thing that has happened to them. I might be misremembering my Gacha tubers because I know there was a Gacha tuber who has talked about that in the past. Might not have been Hxnnah, but well, I don't know. In any case, yeah, I own a top hat which I got when I was attending that school. So yes, you do not need to say more. But yeah, in terms of like that stuff, yeah, it's definitely an easy picking for a one-dimensional bully, but I can see it being effective. Again, antagonist does something antagonistic. That I understand, and was the only piece of actual foreshadowing, or like not really foreshadowing, but actual callback in the episode. So as much as it's an uncomfortable thing, it worked in the story for its intended purposes, which is more than I can say for virtually everything else. About limited I'd ask what makes it different from other gachas, which is why we should care. Aside from badminton itself being an unpopular sport and, therefore a unique choice of sport in question, but yeah, beyond that, not really that much. So, yeah. And now I'm lagging again, so I think it's time to give my internet a rest, because it's been a trooper today for sure, even though I had to reset the actual and switch Wi-Fi's in general. Let's not rock the boat too much more. We've made our points, and much like the video itself, let's end this as abruptly as it began. So please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. And subscribe if you've done so already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.